Hi guys, David here, and before we actually begin with my actual presentation, I just want to first off thank you guys so much for pretty much making this actually an enjoyable class. This is the first time I've actually seen a lot of us being this involved in our discussions and being able to go back and forth, so I actually do really appreciate that, and truly appreciate a lot of the insights that you guys have actually been able to bring up. And that actually has helped me actually a lot in this class, and also not in non-academic environments as well. So without further ado, here's my strategic plan presentation, and hope you guys do enjoy it. And here we go. So yeah, the group that I decided to go with was the Volkswagen group, and not just the entire group itself, but specifically towards Volkswagen. The reason why I decided to go with Volkswagen is because I actually drive a 2008 Jetta myself, and because of that I decided that you know what, it might be a great idea for me to actually look into the company that I'm actually a consumer or client of, and see exactly how things are going. And so if you actually look through the slides, I do have a link connected as well, should be sent also in the forums. If you have trouble with that, feel free to actually come and talk to me about that. But let's get started. So if you look on the second slide, you're going to see the table of contents to see exactly where we're going to go. It's very generalized, just to show you exactly what we're going to be doing. First off that we're going to be looking into is the introduction. Then afterwards we're just going to start going to the diagnosis. Afterwards the assessments and plans, and eventually the summary. Alright, so a little brief introduction of Volkswagen Group. So for some of you may already know, they were a company that was founded in 1937 in Berlin, and they are now known to be the third largest automobile company in the entire world. In fact, they're just falling right behind General Motors, and also falling behind Toyota, which is currently number one. They currently employ over 600,000 employees, and as of 2015 they actually enjoyed a revenue of 210 billion euros. And while they have been slipping a little bit, they still seem to be on a steady scale when I've been trying to keep track of them. But yeah, so that's a little brief introduction of the Volkswagen Group. In regards to the industry itself that's in, it's definitely an automobile industry. That's where that company is focusing on, and it actually has many different other companies that it actually acquired. But in this situation, in this case, I'm going to be focusing on Volkswagen specifically in itself, just the Volkswagen brand. So within the Volkswagen, while there's different types of cars, a lot of it in the luxury side, others in the whole efficiency or cost efficiencies. But for me, one thing I've noticed is the fact that a lot of the cars, especially the Jetta models, are trying to go for the basic models, the basic options. In short, it's the base transportation model. And from what we see compared to all the other options of other models that they have, it actually does make sense about the fact that how Jetta actually is like that. There's of course other types of niche cars, the Beetle, and there's sedans as well. But the situation between those two is the fact that one of the things that we found out is there's a lot of the basic needs that all those cars focuses on, and it seems to be focusing more in regards to those areas rather than just the luxurious side. But even when if we look into strategic segmentations, we'll see that the fact that there's the needs, the technology, the type of customers and geographic areas that they focus on. You'll notice the fact that there's still some similarities in regards to all those cars. But yeah, most of the examples and most of the my conclusions I've been drawing, I'm just going to be basing it off primarily on the Jetta model though. So that is the base car that I'm actually going for when we refer to Volkswagen in itself. So if we go into the needs that it's being served, we do know the fact that it does provide transportation and for comfortable passenger seatings. The nice thing about the model is the fact that it's actually fairly cheap. It's actually the cheapest model out of all the other Volkswagen cars that they have, and also despite the fact that it is on the cheaper end of the scale of the models, even compared to the market, the nice thing about it is the fact that there's still some style to the car. So at the same time, like to some people, like it still looks like a business car, like a car that business people would drive. But at the same time, it's still on the cost-effective side, and at the same time, it provides a little bit of the sporty features look-wise. So it caters to a lot of different like areas of customers. But generally, it looks like that this car model is being targeted to the low-mid and primarily mid consumers, and especially those who are price conscious. It's for those who wants to go especially into the European like cars as well. But yeah, at the same time are on a budget. A lot of them actually also look into Volkswagen itself. As for the technology, pretty much is fairly standard. It has pretty much what many other automobiles have right now as standard options. It also has the Sirius XM radios, which a few of us still use. It also has navigation and Bluetooth. And those are pretty much most of the options in technology that many cars are actually coming out as just their base, or just with a few like simple upgrades. But that's the type of technology that they currently have in their cars. As for the geographic areas, most of the time that I've personally seen, and also from the research that I've been doing, it looks like that most of the cars are found to be either in the populated cities or usually in the suburbs. There's a few in the rural areas, but mostly it's a bit more in the populated cities. But yeah. So if we look into the environmental turbulence, there's different various scales. For me, I decided to actually scale it that it was kind of like in the middle for a turbulence scale level. Mind you, I did round all the levels, so any of the levels or numbers and all these things, I do have them rounded. I don't have it as like a 1 point something or 4 point something. Decided to just make it nice and simple. So, but yeah, going back into it though, for the environmental turbulence scale, I just said that overall it's approximately around a level 3. The reason why I decided to choose that way is because it's despite the fact that the complexity of the environment is on a global social political scale, the change that the company has been going through is not as rapid or as extensive as other companies. Like example would be with BMW. One of the things that they actually been having was they've had a navigation on their on the windshield display, and they actually have that as a projection. And these are just some of the new technology that's coming out, but these are also the things that Volkswagen has always been a little late on. And while they do make the changes, there hasn't been fast enough changes where they're taking the lead in the market itself. Due to that, there's been some predictability on what they're trying to do on their motives, and also from their recent years, if you actually look back into what they've been doing in the past few decades, you notice the fact that there's quite a few noticeable trends that they've been following, and in itself, I would say the fact that like that does create a set of nice consistency within the company itself. And so yeah, excuse me. So yeah, as for their strategy aggressiveness, I also decided that was somewhere close to the middle as well. It was leading a little bit more on the lower end, and this was mainly because of the fact that it is a changing environment that they're in, and they are changing in an incremental stage. However, their aggressiveness, though, in itself, I've actually had to consider this carefully because I was actually thinking it was either going to be reactive or anticipatory. And the reason why is I decided to go with anticipatory is because of the fact that like they are not always reacting to every single issue, but at the same time they are. So in a sense, I decided to go keep that there instead of going into the complete reactive because they're not purely reactive. There is